Coach, how'd practice go today? More effort, more energy after the loss, or did you notice?
Well, we do things the same around here. I mean, you don't, build a program like we built and have a couple 3-point losses, and all of a sudden you change everything and you start questioning all. I think we question when we win, and we question when we lose, and but I don't think we question our effort or our systems and things like that. So I thought it was a good day. A lighter day because of the change of the school. They have to actually go to school now today, so that cut some things short, and we had to cut back a little bit in time wise.
John, have you ever seen a game where so many of the touchdown catches were so
Huh.
close?
Well, yeah, Sunday night highlights. And I think people they're doing amazing things. The Odell Beckham things that guy does, and the way he's sort of created some drills, and those drills go viral, and kids see them. And the one catch the guy made that was the winning touchdown. It was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. And after the game, I'm depressed, and I don't feel good. And then I saw a picture the next day with Ugo's arm all the way out, almost about maybe a foot from the ball, and I went, "It's a good play." I don't know what to say sometimes. I just got to give you got to give people some credit sometimes, and not fault other people and all. That was a superior play.
Do you feel like there's been more of a sense of urgency, or you guys need to have more of a sense of urgency after dropping 2 straight?
Sense of urgency. I mean, I always thought about if we're 4-0 right now, what would be the difference? The only difference is the perception of when you lose, you fall apart. And to me, if you win, you do the same things and you try to get better. When you lose, you do the same things, you try to get better. And I'm hoping that we don't let losses creep into our minds, and all of a sudden we start to feel that. And that's a really dangerous path to go on, and I just try to tell my guys we got to get back to practice and do everything we can, because there's no such thing as easy football anymore. There's no easy games, and we're playing a guy that helped invent a system that Mike gets credit, Leach gets credit, because he has touched every program in the country offensively, and nobody though can run it like he can. And he's a true originator, and to go against him and over the years has been really fun and a challenge, and it remains that way. It's really a challenge to watch what those people up there do and how well they do it. And it's, in some ways, believe it or not, the secret is it's simple. It's simple, but not when you watch it all at once. It looks like a Chinese fire drill.
With a young team and how close you've lost the 2 games,
Yeah.
how much do you have to mention to the players, don't doubt yourselves, trust the process, we're just almost there?
Well, I think that we do, even when we're winning. We don't change a formula because you've had a couple close losses. You just focus on what we have to do to get better, and where we can. I look back and there's a number of plays we can make on either side of the ball, and then does everything change? We still give up a lot of yards and points, and we want to cut those things down and so on and so forth. But I know one thing I'm not going to allow is guys to start to think that they're losers. They're just lost a couple games. We gotta keep going and get ready for this big challenge. I hardly watched the last week's game with them because we play such a unique offense again this week. This is really the 5th game in a row that I think every offense was a little bit different and posed a lot of problems in preparation, and especially with the Cougs offenses. It's really, really special what they have created up there.
Schooler with a second interception on Saturday. What does he bring to the defense from the safety spot?
Speed, athleticism, and he can catch the football. I mean, all those things. He's missed about 4 tackles. He's probably made 20. A couple of the tackles, were big open field misses. That when he gets that down, he makes those. He's gonna be a pretty special athlete for us.
Does he remind you of anybody else, any of the great safeties you've had over the last few years?
No, not really, because he's really fast, you know, and he's tall and he's thin. So there's some thoughts about body types of some of the guys I've had, but you know, he's a lot like Tyree Robinson, who's on the team now.
Where do you think the secondary is compared to last year when you guys played Washington State? When the lead up was, oh my gosh, this young secondary
Well,
is going against blue
oh my
ball.
gosh, oh my gosh, too. No, I just the word. We've got more guys. We've got more experience. When you talk about the, you know, the four main passing concepts that Washington State uses, it's not foreign to them, and that's one of the hardest things in coaching right now. Is just learning and trying to learn other people's systems and apply it to what you have, and it's, you know, it's really difficult. I made myself watch a couple of games Saturday night, and to make myself feel better, I just said, you know, nobody can stop anybody anymore. I mean, both games I watched, there was over 1,000 yards in each game, you know, and you know, some of those teams have what we think is pretty good defenses. So college football has really changed in terms of the systems and all, and so we'll see what happens. We'll be better. We had a good game against them last year. You know, a few plays and we walk off the field 24-17. You hold Washington State to 17 points. That's a big deal. I mean, this team averages, their completion average is 75%. It's just phenomenal. It's freaky, and they don't throw interceptions and they don't get sacked. So you know, it's a heck of a war.
John,
It's gonna be something.
how much will you rotate then? It's going to be fast.
Yeah.
How much will
Well,
you
they
rotate?
don't. You know, their thing isn't. They don't care about like Colorado. Colorado was fast. Colorado really did a great job. My hat's off to them. They built the program. I've seen it like you can. If you give someone a chance, they get better and better. And you're going, God, it's the same guy I played against 3 years ago. Well, that guy 3 years ago is against my guy that just got here. And that's why things start to change sometimes. And, you know, when you can keep that momentum going for as long as we have, you know, it's pretty evident of why things change. And, but I don't know. I kind of lost my question there, but.
Just on the rotation.
Oh, the rotation part. I don't know, man. It just depends on who I can trust and who can learn to be in the right places at the right times. And, you know, that's a dilemma when you're off a guy and you look back and one play is an opportunity to win the game. I don't want to ever blame somebody. You know, like people say something about Dakota throws a bad pass at the end of the game. It's his fault. It's not his fault. He got us down there. He got us back in the game. You know, he did everything he possibly could. We had opportunities on defense to make some stops, get the ball back. It's football. It's a combination of a lot of people, and we all accept the blame.
With how good offenses are around college football these days, like you were mentioning earlier, what's kind of that give and take like when you're, you want to be harsh or coach up your players, but at the same time, you know that teams are going to go for 40 on any given night?
That's a great question. That's a fair question too. It's you know, something that you don't talk about if you're a defensive coach. You cannot talk about the fact that people are running 1 million more plays. They have no conscience anymore. It's about outscoring your opponent sometimes, other than managing games and trying to win games. And so it's for us still got to get a stop, get someone off the field on third down, create some turnovers, and hopefully you win the game at the end. I saw Arizona State do it. They were getting massacred at one point, and then they kind of in a quick possession, they intercepted a ball for a touchdown. They got another interception, scored another touchdown. Then Cal had to kick a onside, and they picked it up and scored. And it's insanity how fast the game went. I saw Arkansas go on a 8-minute drive in the third quarter. They were going to go up 24-17. It got stopped in 4th and 1, and A&M throws a 92-yard touchdown pass. Then they intercept a ball for a touchdown, and the game's like 38-17. And I went, how'd that happen? So still football. It's still a crazy game. That's what makes it interesting. That's what, you know, obviously this many people talking to John Neal on a Monday, football is still a big deal, you know. We got the debates coming up, you know, kind of a big deal in American history, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But
Sorry, 2 games worth of Tyree at corner. Do you feel like that's a permanent move for him now, or could he maybe go back to?
well, that is the answer is yes, and then depends on, you know, it just can we stay healthy, consistent, and can I get consistent play out of the safeties. I've moved some guys in and out, as you've seen, and some of that hasn't been as good as I've wanted it to be, and so I'm still working through that, which, you know, sometimes as a coach you just want to settle in on your group. On the first group I have, the second group is still going to be a little bit in and out.
What are they not doing that you hope to see?
Well, it may be missed tackles. It might be just the fact that if I play 25 plays and I have no production other than missed tackles, I have to note that. You know, you've got to get in and make a play, you know. And when you don't, we got to get you out. We got to give someone else a chance to see.
You guys have had some really good secondaries in years past, and even some good defenses overall. How close do you think you are to being a good defense?
A good defense?
Whatever that means these days.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think we're close. No, we've had some key injuries now. I mean, I hate to bring that up, but we've, you know, when you lose a Jalen Jelks, it's a big injury, and a couple injuries on our inside linebackers. We lost a tackle last week who was. It's one of those things. I said, "Man, you've never played a better game." And then I thought, "That's a curse." And sure enough, he got hurt next day. Oh, no, just don't say anything. So anyway, it always relates to the next game, you know. And if we suck again, or we just aren't playing well, then then maybe we suck. But we believe we're going to get better. We're going to continue to coach them hard. We're going to keep believing. I know every game I go out, I know one thing I do think about is I know that our offense is going to score points and get yards, and that defense also has to rise up. Washington State's defense has to rise up to stop us just as well as we have to rise up and try to slow them down. So I always feel confident in the battle of, hey, whose defense can outplay the other defense to, you know, win and lose in the last seconds. And I see that, and I said that in the beginning of the year, that every game's going to be that close. I didn't expect it to be as true a statement as I thought, but obviously it is.
With the injuries, how much has that maybe stunted the development of your overall defense to just
I
with
think,
everyone being,
you know, if there's a word like chemistry or consistency is the better word, you know, it can break your consistency down a little bit, because that's where we're trying to get to. We need to get to consistency, and until we're there, we're going to struggle. We got to get consistency, and that's what we believe we can get to. And help you with your question a little bit more is, you know, how do you get more consistent when you're not consistent? You know, you just got to keep pushing and believing, and the kids got to believe, the players got to believe, and they'll believe if we believe. If we don't believe, they won't believe, and that's why, you know, being a strong leader is really, really important in any midst of anything with your families and your work, whatever, who's your bosses, stuff like that. You know, you got to stay strong and positive, and help, especially young people that, you know, can get lost really quick if you don't stay on top of it.
Do you feel like having Coach Yost on the staff is a big help to you guys in terms of breaking down Washington State?
Yes, he told us everything Mike Leach does, and that's great. And then we have to stop him. You know what I mean? So, and you know, again, I think I've gone against this style of offense, and then specifically Mike, for a while. That you know what they're doing, you know how they do it, but they're really good at it. And even if you know the play, you got to stop River Craycroft coming across the field. He's run that play 8 million times, and we've defended it 25 times. And I'm not exaggerating. That's how good they are at it. Opening play last year, I just wanted to stand up and give them we called the perfect defense for that particular play and knew it was coming, and they threw it within an inch and got a first down. I went, oof, scares you, because they're that precise, and the quarterback is really talented. Really, he'll be an NFL starter.
Is Malik a guy you're going to bounce between corner and safety?
Yeah, I have to. Yep.
Is that because Juwan was still maybe a little limited?
Well, it's coverability. cover ability. You know, I got guys out there and, you know, put poor Khalil out there and zero man coverage against their best receiver like last week, and they caught us on a deep ball, and that was a really smart play by Colorado, and they got us at the right moment, the right time with the right people, and that was the results, and good for them. Yeah, it's still a battle to match personnel the best you can because of 4 wides, and this team runs 4 and 5 wideouts every play, and we can't have slow guys on fast guys.
Is that it?
All right.
Done.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.